Chapter 41. The Call of the Abyss. The silence that followed the fall of the last Varog was a strange one. Thick, heavy, almost reverent. The torches of the Colosseum still flickered, casting long shadows across the arena scarred by battle. The stench of dust, blood, and shattered stone lingered in the air. Alden sat on the ground, leaning against a cracked wall. His breathing was labored but steady. Beside him, Luthera had lowered her silver body, resting her head on his thigh, like a guardian hound unwilling to abandon her post. The rest of the group stood in a loose semicircle around him, exhausted, wounded, and covered in dust, but alive, and for the first time in days, carrying a spark of relief in their eyes. Dwarves moved across the arena, hauling away the bodies of the Varogs. Some murmured ancient prayers, others worked in grim silence, dragging corpses that seemed far too heavy for living men, yet far too light for such monstrous beings. Not bad, Dren raised an eyebrow, crossing his arms. For a boy who, a few hours ago, looked like he was about to wet himself in the king's hall. Kel let out a short, dry laugh. At least he didn't faint this time, he added, giving Alden a light nudge. Alden smiled, weak but sincere. Doran snorted proudly, brushing dust from his chest with both hands. Bah, I'm the one who earned the applause. Or have you already forgotten my glorious battle against the king? He raised his voice so nearby dwarves could hear. That was a fight worthy of song. You fought well, Doran, Alden replied, looking at him with genuine gratitude. Very well, Doran laughed deeply. That was nothing, just a warm-up. You'll see. What comes next will make the mountains tremble. Lyanna stepped closer to Alden and knelt beside him, resting a gentle hand on his shoulder. Her emerald green eyes regarded him with pride and quiet affection. You controlled your power well, she said softly. Alden looked up at her, feeling the weight of exhaustion settle into every bone. I had a great teacher, Lyanna smiled, a brief, intimate smile. Luthera released a low, approving growl, as if sanctioning that small moment of calm. But Syrah, who rarely allowed emotion to cloud her judgment, was the first to break the peace. That attack, she said coldly, wiping the blade of one of her curved swords. It wasn't random. It couldn't have been. All eyes turned to her. They were looking for us, she continued. More precisely, they were looking for you, Alden. Dren lifted both hands. That's absurd, impossible. I'm certain no one followed us from the Tower of Lumara. Selenia, who had been watching the arena in unsettling silence, spoke for the first time since the battle ended. For someone like Galathor, she said, impossible simply means something he hasn't yet chosen to do. His bond with shadow and darkness grants him sight beyond mortal perception. He doesn't need to follow you. He has shadows and ravens with eyes everywhere. Cal clenched his jaw. It was a mistake. Leaving that damn commander alive, he growled. The tension thickened. Selenia shot him a sharp, cutting look. Lyanna sighed. Let it go, Kale. Alden frowned. What are you talking about? Kyle ran a tired hand through his hair. The commander of the Order of the Ravens, the one who was tracking us in the mountains of Thalin. He was the same one who had Selenia imprisoned. I had a chance to kill him. I didn't. Dren snorted. I told you, I knew we'd regret letting him live. Alden thought for a moment, then slowly shook his head. Sparing a life is never a mistake. What's done is done. Now we can only look ahead and keep moving forward. The words fell lightly, yet carried unexpected weight. Lyanna and Selenia looked at him with silent pride. Sarah and Kale exchanged a different glance. Part respect, part the certainty that Alden still did not fully grasp the cost of certain choices. Then a deep voice echoed from the entrance of the Colosseum. Bold words, lad. King Durin Hramson strode forward between fallen columns, flanked by several of his guards. His armor was battered, his beard tangled with dust and dark blood, yet his presence remained that of a king among mountains. My people and I owe you our lives, he said, resting one hand on the haft of his hammer. You have shown courage, strength, and resolve. His gaze shifted to Doran, then to Sarah. But you, boy, He pointed at Alden. You have shown more than that. Alden blinked, surprised. It is clear that you are the rightful bearer of Arundel. Durin continued. She obeys you. That is proof enough. Then he turned to Doran. And since Doran, son of Thuran, won the right of Durvak Thulnar, he has the right to make his demand. Speak, son of a dwarf. Doran puffed out his chest. Then let it be said plainly, he straightened proudly. I ask that you grant us the relic of the dawn, the axe of Durvak. Silence fell instantly. Durin did not smile, nor did he frown. He simply sighed deeply. I wish it were that simple, he said solemnly. But I fear you have misunderstood something. They stared at him in disbelief. I do not possess the relic, he revealed at last. I can only tell you where to find it. A chill ran through the entire group. In the throne room, red braziers flickered. Their flames reflected on stone walls. Galathor sat upon his dark throne, holding his scepter in one hand as though it were an extension of his own body. At his feet, living shadows coiled and slithered, shaped by a will older than any man. Ravor, the dark elf, knelt before him. As we suspected, my lord, he reported, the Varogs failed to bring the bearer of the mark. Galathor smiled faintly, a measured, calculated gesture. I knew it from the beginning. Shall we send another group, my lord? No, Galathor replied coldly. I have already given orders to Varek. His forces should be halfway there by now. It is time to apply pressure on those stubborn dwarves of Tharzul. His black eyes seemed to swallow the torchlight, and the darkness around him grew denser. Let them know their time is nearly at an end. The wind howled against the outer walls in a constant wail. Riven stood with a handful of guards behind him, staring down the winding road that climbed toward the fortress. An army was advancing. Crimson banners waved through the night, bearing the black silhouette of a raven with outstretched wings. Dark troops marched in dense ranks, moving with disciplined precision. At their head rode a man clad in armor and helm, mounted on a black horse. He stopped before Riven, dismounted, and removed his helmet with a firm gesture. He was young, younger than a commander ought to be. A crooked, almost friendly smile tugged at his lips. Commander Riven, it's been a long time. Riven met his gaze, eyes taut. Indeed, Duralam. Durin led the group down spiraling staircases that descended into the bowels of the fortress. With every step, the air grew colder, older, heavier. They reached a vast corridor where two colossal metal doors towered before them, so tall they seemed to touch the vaulted ceiling. Runes carved into their surface glimmered faintly, as though stirred awake by their presence. Durin placed a hand upon the icy metal. Long before my time, in the days of King Durvak, the excavations led here, he murmured. To a place so deep and dark, it was named the Abyss. None who entered ever returned. Except him, the group remained silent. Durvak descended once, bearing the relic of the dawn. He continued. He returned, but never spoke of what he found. When he chose to seal the relic away, he hid it at the very bottom of the abyss. This time, he did not return. Kale narrowed his eyes. So, if we want the relic, we have to go down there? Where only a legendary king returned once, without knowing what's inside or how long it will take. Dren clicked his tongue. In short, a suicide mission. Wonderful. Alden and Lyanna exchanged a troubled glance. Selenia stepped closer to Alden, her voice low but firm. Alden, along your path, you will have to make difficult choices, many of them, and those choices will not affect only you, but all of Myranthel. Alden looked at each of his companions. His gaze lingered a moment longer on Sarah, who watched him with an unreadable expression. Finally, he nodded. The prophecy says that for the darkness to fall, the relics must be gathered. If we are to defeat Galathor, we have no other choice. He drew a deep breath. I will descend into the abyss. I will face whatever awaits. Lyanna stepped forward at once. You won't go alone, she said without hesitation. I'm coming with you. Kel rolled his eyes, resigned. I suppose I can't let my little brother go alone to the bottom of the world. This will be legendary, Doran bellowed, raising his axe. Sarah inclined her head solemnly. My blades are ready. All eyes turned to Dren. Don't look at me, he grumbled. I only work for money. Doran struck the ground with his hammer. That will not be an issue. You will have whatever you need. Gold, supplies, whatever you ask. Alden took a deep breath. Then, it is decided. Far away, deeper than any echo, in a place where light had never touched, something stirred. An axe buried beneath centuries of dust and darkness began to vibrate. A tremor that coursed through the abyss and rose through the earth like an ancient call. Alden felt it. The mark upon his chest pulsed, like a promise, an awakening from which there would be no return.